Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, your host, your friend, your coach. Today I have a very, very special guest, my new good dear friend, Rafael Viola from the UK. We had a chat about 2, 3 weeks ago, a very powerful chat. And this gentleman, the story that he's going to share with us is one of those stories that will shock you, revolt you, even gets you very emotional. I was almost getting in tears when I was listening to his message, to his on the first call we had, and even you sent me a couple of documents summarizing what you went through. And I couldn't finish the document. I was really horrified, revolted. And he's going to share with us the incredible plight that he had to go through to the hands of the Catholic Church in England, how he was himself and other kids were innocent children were not only physically abused, emotionally abused, but also sexually abused and raped pretty much on a weekly, if not daily basis for years, if not. And this is not something that was just limited to him. Unfortunately, this is something that's been going on for even way before, from the report you sent me, from as early as the 1930s, and it's still going on. So we're going to unpack all of this and talk about your journey, how you've been silenced, even ridiculed for for stepping up to share your story. And this is one of those stories that really need to be shared loud and everywhere, but also a story that will revolt you, because there's no place in this today's world or any world for what he's going to share with us, and what most importantly, what he had to go through growing up as a young boy, and how this has scarred him and affected him for the rest of his life. So thank you for the courage. Thank you for coming and sharing that, Rafael. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Good morning, Payman. Thank you for having me on your show. I just, I want to start this. It might be, or it will be triggering for
Sorry,
some viewers.
before we even start, tell us, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. I'm happy that I'm getting my voice out. These are the moments that I like, to tell my story, to make it get awareness out there. And have the opportunity to speak to people globally for what's happening. Yeah, I feel good. I feel good.
Good.
I feel happy when I'm doing this job.
Thanks so much. Before you start your
Really happy.
story, before starting sharing your story, tell us a little bit about yourself so people get to know you. Who is Rafael as a man, as a human being, and who are you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and then that's going to allow us to really get into your story.
I was born in Scotland. My mother is Spanish, Maria. My father was Italian, and half Italian, half Irish. He was born in Scotland. I've got 8 siblings. My life in Scotland, Glasgow, it was pretty sad, really, because it was a lot of poverty in them days in Glasgow. We were poor. So my father's family, some of the family moved down to England, to Coventry, and we followed them in 1969. Just show you, that's a picture of me when I was in Glasgow. That's that's my book, Stealing Life. That's me, my first Holy Communion. That was I was taken about 18 months before I left Glasgow, Scotland. So we arrived in England. What happened after that is I played truant. I couldn't fit in. I was 9 years of age. I come from a loving family. My father, my mum, typical Catholics, Italians, Spanish, Irish. You couldn't get a mixture like that, but we were Catholics. So I played truant in England, primary school, because I didn't really fit in. I missed all my friends in Glasgow. So the education department got involved and the social services got involved. So they prepared a test for me. And that test revealed, it says that I was severely retarded. They went to see my mother. My mother can't speak English. She can't write English. she signed some forms, not knowing that she committed me into the care of the local authority. And because I was a Catholic, they put me into a Catholic children's home called Croome Court. In them days, it was called St. Joseph's. Now, I was 9.5 years of age, and my upbringing, I was a churchgoer, going to church every Saturday in Scotland, every Sunday in Scotland. I believed in the Catholic Church. I thought all these people were holy people, so I had no fears whatsoever going to this boarding school. It was called a boarding school, I was told. It was run by Birmingham Archdiocese, run by the Sisters Charity of St. Paul's Apostle. Well, since then, that day that I arrived there, my life just turned into hell. It was a school for severely retarded children and feeble-minded children. The nuns there were pure brutal. The priests were raping children. A lot of orphanages were there. A lot of children were severely retarded and feeble-minded. The atrocities that happened there was murders, rapes, and tortures by the nuns, priests, and staff.
Did you say murder?
2 allegations of murder.
Murder, wow.
Murder, yeah, murder. Yeah, but 2 allegations there from the nuns, Sister Charities, St. Paul's Apostle, 2 different entities. The children, allegations of murder, 2 children have been killed there. There was a priest there were raping children. No, this is all established at the inquiry. I was involved in the independent inquiry into child sexual abuse. Now, I'd never met these other survivors before. I did at school. One of them remembered me when I was at that school, Croome Court. We were supposed to give evidence to that inquiry about the atrocities, what happened to us under the cloak of Birmingham Archdiocese. And we were silenced. The Catholic Church, Cardinal Vincent Nichols, the head of the Catholic Church, he gave evidence to that inquiry. The Archbishop of Birmingham, Bernard Marley, he gave evidence to that inquiry. We were promised a voice at that inquiry. We were silenced. Right? They gave their part, their excuses, what happened, but the truth never came out. So when I was at Croome Court, as I said, 2 allegations of murder. The priests were raping children there. The staff were raping children there. We were treated like cattle at that place. When they used to take us out for walks, like, they'd have a cane. This member of staff would have a cane or a branch off a tree. If we stepped out of line or spoke, they whip us. They turned and said we were degenerates, we were retards, nobody liked us, nobody loved us, nobody wanted us. We were only there because nobody else wanted us. We got no future in life. We were low lives. Public meetings was an everyday occurrence. Corporal punishments. It was every day.
For no reason.
I ended up trying to kill myself for no reason. We were just a burden on society. That's what we were told. Right? And the nuns, some of them had nicknames. You had Sister Bomber. That was one of the nuns. They were Irish nuns, these nuns. Sister Bomber. She used to come out and bang you. Like, just punch you, knock you out, hit you for no reason. And she had some punishment. That's why we called her Sister Bomber. Then you had the karate nun. She was known as the karate nun. She used to come out in them days, like Kung Fu was just coming out. Right? And she used to come out and do a karate trick, karate on you or kick you. Then you had another nun. She used to walk about with a chair leg. So the beatings, like for nothing, 150 children at that school. You could have dropped a pin, and heard the pin drop. And in the mornings, the nun, you'd have your breakfast and the food. It was just like slops. It was like Oliver Twist, to tell you the truth. Big wooden tables, slops. The nuns would come out in the morning, read your name out, and I knew my name was always on that list. Most of the time, it was on my list. And for no reason, you drop your trousers and they'd whip you in front of the whole school. So the beatings, they were tortures, they were murders, they were rapes, degrading all the time. One of the guys who was an orphan, He used to get raped every week with one of the priests.
Oh,
He was part of the inquiry. He's dead now. He could only read Latin. They locked him in a room for months and months at a time and forced him to read Latin. He was an altar boy. He couldn't read English, and he couldn't read and spell English at all. Only read Latin. He was forced into that. One of the other children, I just want to say this is how cruel. Well, it's not cruel. It's unbelievable, and this is triggering. One of the boys who was 11 years of age, he was part of the inquiry as well. I met him at the inquiry, but that inquiry cost £250 million, by the way. In his witness statement, he got raped by members of staff in the changing rooms after the game of football. And the next week, he tried to rape him again, and he escaped. And you know how you got your little wooden benches in the gym? And then there's little small benches, long benches, step-up benches, I call them. He ran out and he banged his head, and he was unconscious. He got raped when he was unconscious. No, these are horror stories. I want to tell these stories because I want to tell the people what kind of atrocities that happened at that Croome Court. No, we're shouting for an investigation at the Croome Court. It's near enough impossible. We're still fighting now. So I ended up taking 21 Valium pills, diazepam. I stole them from my father while I was on leave from at school. The only person who believed me was my mum and dad. The police didn't believe me. No, every time I ran away, I prolific runner away. Every time I had a chance, I was running away. The police would pick me up, they sling me in the cells, and 9 times out of 10, they gave me a slap, saying that I was wasting police time, I should be grateful, these people were looking after me. Nobody listened to me. Nobody listened. And obviously, when the police pick you up, they want to know, why did you run away? Oh, no. So there was no actions taken by the police. They didn't believe us. Nobody believed us. The social services didn't believe us. And, the Catholic Church didn't believe us. No, you couldn't report abuse to the nuns, because if you did report it to the nuns that the priest was interfering with you, the nuns, that's why one of the kids got murdered at Father Hudson's Homes, because when the nuns found out that this nun was having an affair with one of the children, they called it an affair. It ain't an affair. It was child sexual abuse. When the other nuns found out she was having an affair, abusing this child, apparently they killed him. And that's prompted a police investigation into the Father Hudson's Homes. But there's fresh evidence now where another survivor has come forward to support that evidence. But there's still no investigation into Croome Court. But these are by the same sisters' charity of St. Paul's Apostle. I went to Father Hudson's Homes after Croome Court. As I said, I took 21 Valium, tried to kill myself, woke up in hospital, and I was so angry. I still remember it now, and it's in my reports from my medical records that I was angry and aggressive. Yeah. Do you know why? Because I was angry and aggressive because I was still alive. No. And can you imagine that? A 10-year-old boy, you're angry and aggressive. And I tried to run out of the hospital as well. They didn't believe me. The hospital didn't believe me when I was telling them, why did you do it? Because I'm getting abused at this place. They tried to kill me. They tried to waterboard me at Croome Court. Like, no, the beatings that I've got there is, like, no, I can't describe it. The beatings. They locked me in covers overnight. They tried to waterboard me. They caught me smoking a cigarette, a little stump. Then I got beatings, forced to clean the recess, the toilets in pajamas when I was running away. I remember a pail bucket of water, cold water, and the disinfectant was Jay's fluid. I remember it was a tin. My knees, my pajamas were all soaking, stinking, because there was that dirty water. You know, when you get that smell of the dirty water, it can like be scrubbing brushes like that. So that was my punishment for running away. Yeah, so I didn't get any education. So they locked me in covers when I ran away. They locked me in covers. When they were picking me up from the police station, they come in and go like that, all dressed in their habits and all that, and the police go, "Oh, all right, sister, would you like a cup of tea? Would you like a biscuit?" And I'm terrified because I know what's going to happen. Right? No, as soon as you take me out of the car, I'm out the side with the police, like I'm getting beaten in the car. Before I get to back to the children's home, Croome Court, my clothes are ripped off me. They're dragging me up by my hair, by everything.
Oh.
Like, yeah, they beat me. Like, put me in a cold bath. Like and half drowned as well, like and big scrubbing brushes, like scrub me, then get out of the bath, like freezing cold, like then they get this white powder and throw this white powder over me. Then they lock me in a cupboard. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 nights. Like it's pitch black, and they come past and bang a door and go like, you've gone to purgatory. And just call me names. Nobody loves you. We don't want you.
Were they feeding you when you were kept in that cupboard?
No. A lot of times I was missing out on my dinners or my tea. They would just leave me, especially when I was in the recess scrubbing the floors. But these floors were just like slates, black slate. Because it's an old Croome Court. It's an old, I think it's a 16th century building. It's a court. So there's a lot of old material there, big slates, black slates, and you have to scrub them. And as I said, you get over, the water was dark, smelly, and it's on my clothes, wet knees all the time. And the nuns used to come in and check, and the food there as well. Every home that I went to, so I went to Croome Court. That was just a part. That was my first part in my journey. And I went to Father Hudson's homes from there. But the psychiatric report that I got from the hospital says, after my overdose, says Rafael should not be placed in no more children's homes, as there's a great risk that he would try to commit suicide again.
Wow.
But that was taken no notice. Nobody took no notice of that. So that overdose released me from Croome Court. But I ended up into the frying pan, because they sent me to another children's home called Father Hudson's Home, St Edward's. That was run by Birmingham Archdiocese as well, run by the same charity, same non-sister charity, St Paul's Apostle. As I said, they get investigated there for murder. Hundreds and hundreds of children have come forward there. If you just Google it, they will come forward. No investigations, allegations there of murder. No, they got investigated for murder there. The nuns. The priest went to prison there for raping children and abusing children. Now, I know some of the survivors who were there, and the stories that I know of, and it's they're unspeakable. Hundreds and hundreds. And when what's happened to these 100 children, nearly 100 children, you can Google all this. These are all facts are still unaccountable for. Where are these children? Why ain't there an investigation into these children? Where have they gone? Have they been murdered? No. But I know at the time, when these murder allegations were happening, they were sending children to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, to the British Commonwealth, for trafficking us, for their own sadistic purposes, for gain, for sexual abuse, or we were commodities. There. So I left Father Hudson's Home, St Edward's Boys' School. As I said, the atrocities that happened at that place, same as at Croome Court. These places are exactly the same. Same sisters, same regime, same organisation, Birmingham Archdiocese. So I left there. I got found in the highway by the police, murdered in the highway, and they took me home. And I've never had anything from it since. I can't even remember being at Father Hudson's Homes. my memory is completely blank, but I know everything that happens in my life. But from Father Hudson's Homes, I can't remember zero, nothing. I will think about it, the shutters come down, and I was found wandering on a highway by the police, and they took me home. Now, I didn't even know I was at Father Hudson's Homes, I was St. Edward's Boys' School, until I got my report from the Archdiocese, from the archives, because I was involved in this inquiry. And that's when I found out that I was severely retarded, and that I went to Father Hudson's Homes as well. And then there was a report in there as well, 2 years later, when I was diagnosed as severely retarded. 2 years later, there was a report from the education department saying that I was misdiagnosed. Like, no, you can't make this up. Like, no, I've got the paper, everything's all there. So how I found out what happened was when I left Father Hudson's Homes, I got arrested for petty shoplifting. Stupid things. Like, no, there was nothing, a bag of sweets, or I can't even remember. Like, nothing seriously. So that gave them another excuse to give me a care order till I was 18. I was 12 years of age at the time. So they sent me to a place called Tenno Assessment Centre. That's also in Birmingham. Now, that is supposed to be a secure unit. No. 8 members of staff at that place went to prison in 1992 for sexually abusing children. Hundreds of children came forward. But that was another police inquiry, Operation Camille, that was. All these people, they all had pillars of society, i.e., one of the abusers was called Eugene Devote. He got 8 years. He was the organ player at St. Charles Cathedral. Like, so he was playing at funerals, weddings, Easters, Christmas. He had a relationship with the Archbishop and the Catholic Church. Now, he was an abuser. Another abuser there, he was in the army. He was known as one of the desert rats. He was highly decorated in the army. There was another abuser there. He was a famous sports person, Goodall, his name was. So anyway, there was 8 members of staff there. It was a paedophile ring. They all went to prison. Over 100 children come forward. Now, I have documents with the absconded list for 1 month. 28 children ran away from that place in 1 month, and it's supposed to be a secure unit. Why wasn't eyebrows raised? Why didn't people go like, oh, this is a secure unit? You've got 28 children running away. My name's on it twice. And man, no, when you run away from these children's homes, you don't go and pick you up from the police station and say, oh, you okay, Rafael, you stroke you. They just want to hurt you. They just want to teach you a lesson because you're a thorn in their sides. Like, no, you're exposing them. I'm exposing them. I'm telling them, they're beating me. No, they're beating me. They're raping children, and they're like, the atrocities that's happening in these places is unspeakable. I'm telling them the stories that's happening. Like, and I'm telling the stories that's happened to myself. And the police, honest, 9 times out of 10, as I says, they give you a slap and say, you're wasting our time. These people, this is how you repay these people. So nobody will listen to you. And who's going to listen to me? On my record, it says severely retarded. Like, no. But when I was at Tenno Assessment Centre, it's an assessment centre where they assess you. So they assess me there. Then, then it's come to light that I'm not severely retarded. Like, no. So they've brought to the education department, and I've got documentation from the education department that says, oh, Mr. Rafael was misdiagnosed. Like, no, how can you misdiagnose me? Like, no, but they done it to my sister as well. They misdiagnosed my sister. My sister she was in a children's home because we were poor. My mum's Spanish. Like, no, we come from a big family. Like, no, give us a break. Like, no, they just seen that opportunity to take us away. Now, my sister was classed as severely retarded as well. Our 3 children went to university. Cambridge University, St Andrews University, Keele University. My sister's a one-parent mother. Right, no, she was in hospital for 20 odd years, paralysed from the waist down from an accident, and her 3 children went to these top universities, and they classed her as well as severely retarded, because I was supposed to join her. We were supposed to be together, but they separated us. I went to Croome Court and she went to there, and she got abused. She's dead now, bless her. No, and it hurts me. So I was at Tenno Assessment Centre. The abuse there, the sexual abuse there was rife. As I said, 8 members of staff, and nobody's clicked on that 28 children have run away in 1 month. My name's on that list, and the rest of the names are all blanked. 28 children.
Wow.
So I've left. I've got assessed at Tenno Assessment Centre. They assessed me, and because I'm a Catholic, they sent me to another notorious place, St Gilbert's Approved School. This is sickening. That place. That was run by the Christian Brothers, the De La Salle Christian Brothers, notorious for their evilness. Same thing here. Rapes, kids getting dragged out of bed at night, screaming. Like, no, I've got my head on a blanket. Please don't let it happen to me. I don't know. No, it was just every one of these places was just fear. You could cut the fear. You could just sense it. These Christian brothers, they come in during the night, steaming drunk, full of whiskey, and just drag kids out of bed, screaming.
Raphael, why do you think they were doing that? What were they getting out of it?
They're sadistic. They're sadistic. They're sadists. They are. No human being does that. No. These Christian brothers, the De La Salle, they're known from all over the world for doing it. And you just Google them. The atrocities that they've inflicted on children, as I said, it's unspeakable. Right? And when he did report it to the police, same thing again. That was a big. That was another Operation Quail. I was involved with that. Westminster Police. Nothing comes out here. Nobody gets jailed. No. Then they try to put a 40-year seal on our documents. No, we can't access the documents until 2044. So they're making sure all these abusers are dead. 2044. This is something out of Spotlight. The movie. They just keep on covering up, and they won't come clean. But I tell you, people, see if they did come clean, it'd make us feel better. At least we can then sit down at the table and discuss it. They don't want you to discuss it. They don't want to do it. They just close the doors on us. As I said, they call us troublemakers. They assassinate our characters. They threaten us. They silence us. They're not above the law. None of them are above the law. So yeah, I was at St Gilbert's. As I said, another Operation Quail. I got interviewed with them. Westminster Police. Nothing's come out of it. My abuser is dead. You can't know that is what they do. They wait until your abusers are dead, because this is historical. But it's not historical to us, because we've been fighting this for years, But it's only coming to light now. There's a little bit of change, but they ain't enough. We don't want a little bit. We want a good bit of change. Let's show us something. And you know something, Paylan? I've had 5 apologies. I've had apologies from the Pope Nuncio, the Cardinal, the head of the Catholic Church in England, Wales, Vincent Nichols, Archbishop Bernard Langley, Birmingham Archdiocese. Not one of these apologies are fit for purpose. They only say they're sorry that they get caught and got found out. And what they're doing now is just all PR stunts. They won't listen to survivors like myself. They only listen to the hand-picked survivors. And this is what's annoying us, survivors. They won't listen to us. They only listen to the survivors who go back to the church, who forgive them. Well, I would forgive them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we call them professional survivors. like no, the ones who are handpicked, they end up getting being headed charities. They open a charity up for them for hotlines. Like no, we don't want hotlines, but these hotlines that they've got with these charities, they're only there to get the information out of us. Like no, they ain't there to help us. Like no, no, they're clever what they do. They're still covering up. And when me now, the Catholic safeguarding standards don't want to talk to me. They told me, we don't want to talk to you no more. You've had your investigation at the inquiry. Birmingham Archdiocese safeguarding, which is not fit for purpose. I'll go outside there and a campaign with my banners. Come clean on your killer nuns and your paedophile priests. I'm out there regular. Like, no, and the parishioners, they intimidate me. And I don't care. I'm by myself. I'm there voicing my story. I want them parishioners to know what they happen. And nobody turns and says to me, well, they have this is their response, the parishioners. Well, they've apologised, Rafael. And apologising. Well, why are they helping us? You've got survivors at Croome Court threaten to jump themselves off the roofs. Like, no, you're not listening to us. You discard us. You assassinate our characters. Like, and you talk about compensation. Where's our compensation? You promised us compensation. You promised us help. Where is it?
What would the compensation do? Compensation can never give back your time, your dignity, and all that.
Yeah, you did anything. But now the turnaround says they don't want to speak to me. The Catholic safeguarding standards, it's not for purpose, by the way. We've had many dealings with them, as many survivors, apart from your hand-picked survivors. You've got Birmingham Archdiocese safeguarding, not fit for purpose. As I said, you've got survivors want to jump off the roof. Like, no, because they ain't being listened to, and they're getting treated like I don't know. I don't know the word how they're getting treated. Like no, it's just horrible. It makes us feel worse. Like no, now they've told me they don't want to talk to me. You've had your inquiry, independent inquiry, nothing to do with us now. So we have nowhere to complain. Even the Vatican have turned their back on me. Like no, the Pope sent the Pope Nuncio, he's the ambassador to Great Britain, to see me. I met him for 3 hours. He promised me he was going to get back to me after another meeting with Pope Francis. Pope Francis says to him, tell Rafael that I'm saddened what I read, because I gave him a witness statement. I'm saddened what I read, and tell him what I'll be measuring in my prayers. Now, I'm fed up with them people saying, we're going to pray for you. No, like this morning, I was on the news this morning, I was watching the news this morning. Now, this is the Church of England. Now, they had the Archbishop of York on TV this morning. I know he's saying, oh, we're praying for survivors. Like, no, well, he's got history because, no, the Catholic, the Church of England at the moment, they haven't got a leader. Welby, Justin Welby, he's resigned. So you've got this other guy here, the Archbishop of York. Now, there's allegations with him for covering up. Nobody wants him. So he's sitting there on TV going, oh, we're sorry. Like, we're fed up you saying you're sorry. Like, no.
Rafael, I have a few questions. I have a few questions, if I may. First of all, so the Croome Court, was that a place for orphans or any kid that were discarded by the system?
It was for orphans and for people. A lot of children there, they were traumatized before they went there. They maybe they've seen tragedies in the family, or a lot of them was they've been involved with fires. They were involved with something in their life that's triggered them. Because it was a school for severely retarded children, feeble-minded children. Now, a lot of these children seen a lot of terror in their life before they went there. And John Lamb, he was an orphan. He was.
I read about him. Yes.
Yeah. He was an orphan. And what a smashing guy he was. I've met him at the inquiry, and someone, he had cancer at that inquiry. He's dead now. He died about 8 months later. And there was another guy at that inquiry as well. This is how they were treated by the establishment. This guy lived in London, and this is his chap. he got raped by the gym teacher. Now, he's a drug addict, likes to drink. Not sort of drug, he's marijuana, and he liked a drink. So when he attended that inquiry, we all did, me, John come down 200 miles to the inquiry to London. I travelled 100 miles in a wheelchair to the inquiry. Like, we never even got offered a drink of water at that inquiry. Nobody even seen us. We were there for 5 days. Like, no, the whole place was packed with nuns, priests, cardinals, archbishops, monsieurs, like hierarchy from the Catholic Church were all there, all laughing and joking, hugging each other. We sat there like traumatized. Like, no, nobody come up and say, "Oh, are you okay?" So I'll get back to this guy. Like, no, he lived in London. He attended that inquiry every day, like, and he was proper traumatized at that inquiry. He's asked the inquiry and his lawyers, could you help him out, put us in the same hotel as the rest of us. He had no money for food. He had no money to get from his house to travel to the inquiry. So our lawyers were going, yeah, we'll phone it, we'll let you know. In the end, he phoned his lawyer up. I mean, I was there, and he phoned the lawyer up, and he goes, look, I haven't got any money. I'm hungry. Can you please help me? And no, but the lawyer turned around and says to him, we're a law firm, not a travel agency. I said, we can't give you anything. So I ended up putting him in my hotel room. I gave him my breakfast, I shared my bed with him, my room with him. I had to buy him drink because he was totally in bits. Like, no, and I'm a recovering alcoholic, like a recovering drug addict. Like, I've got this guy. Right, it was so pitiful. Like, no, and for them, that's how we got treated at inquiry. They didn't care about us. And that inquiry, the lawyers were on £1,750 a day. Like,
Wow.
that inquiry.
Who was paying those lawyers? Who was paying those lawyers? The church?
It's the government. No, the government. The government. It was an independent inquiry into child sex abuse. The government. It cost £250 million. Like £200 million this inquiry costs, and nothing's
And they
come
would
out of
not
it.
help you guys, your lawyers, your accommodation,
No, never.
transportation,
Yeah,
nothing.
they gave us accommodation because I had to travel from Birmingham to London. Like, so they put me up in the because the other guy lived at the other part of London. Like, but he lived in a bed set. He had no money. He's on benefits. He's got nothing. Like, no, he's on £50 a week benefits. Like, it was just sad. It was sad. Like, no, he didn't want to go home. He was traumatized. He didn't want to go home by himself. And you know something?
£50 a week?
Yeah, but £50, £60 a week benefits you get in England.
Yeah.
If you're unemployed, like, no, he's
So,
getting unemployment benefit.
Rafael, question. What was the daily structure or schedule at, say, the Croome's house? Whether like a specific time that you guys were waking up, after waking up, breakfast and classes? Tell us what was the typical day in that institution.
Well, you got up. You got up first thing in the morning. I think it's 7 o'clock. You got up. The nun come in. Get up. You get up. Then she come back in 5 minutes later. Then we had to say prayers. We had to kneel, say our prayers. I went up for about 10 minutes. Then you have a wash. You come back in. Then you tip to, like, because it was an old building, Croome Court. It's that big that they converted the stables into dormitories and classrooms. We couldn't go into the main building. So you can imagine the big oak floors. It was all like it's all Tudor, but you had these big buffers, right? The buffers, like, no, big long poles, and like they were called buffers. They weighed more than me, so you had to everybody had a job. Like, no, you make your beds, and the ones who ate the bed. They used to be able to stand there with the wet sheets above their heads and getting ridiculed in front of everybody. And the nuns would just, say that was teaching my lesson. This is what you get for wetting the beds. So the young kids would stand there with the soaking sheets above their heads. We clean up, make our beds, clean up. Then we go down for breakfast. We say our prayers at breakfast. After breakfast, you say your prayers. Then the nun to come out with a list, like, no, for people who are being naughty around like that. Then it was public beatings, like, no, you step out, drop your trousers, lean over the bed, the table, and then they whip you. But half the times you never knew. I didn't know. No, you never knew what you were getting beaten at, what were you getting the bill for. You just call your name. Like, no, as I said, corporal punishment was every day. Then you go to the classrooms. And my big mistake was when I went first day or second day at Croome Court, I was in the classroom, like, and I went like that. It says because they were showing me pictures of an apple, and they were showing me pictures of an orange, and they were showing me pictures of a cat and a dog. Not me to go to the classroom and going, "What's that?" Like, and I'm going like, "No, I was far above that. Okay, I was only a kid, but I know I definitely seen an apple and an orange and a dog and a cat." Like, no. So I've said that to the biggest mistake was I said to the nun, "Why am I here?" Like, no, I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with me. Like, no, it's like, no, it's something that you teach a 3-year-old or a 2-year-old. Like, no, so he goes, "Oh, you clever? You think you're clever?" So my first 2 weeks was made facing the wall, kneeling. Every now and again I get a slap in the head or get the blackboard rubber chucked at me or if I moved. There was just pure vindictiveness. Then, then we go for dinner. Then they put us out in the field, right? Then back to the classrooms, my bit of sports or whatever. Then at night, after tea, we'd go for recreation. They had 150 kids, but they had the chairs all lined up. These little plastic chairs all lined up, like and a TV. And you couldn't know. You had to sit there for 2 hours. That was your recreation. You sit there. You could talk to the guy next door, the kid next door, or there. But you couldn't talk to somebody down there. If you made a noise around like that, there was a nun sitting at the end because you had bars at the window. And you only had one door, and it was a big room. And you had a nun sitting at the end of the room, and that was the one who had the chair leg, right? So if you made a noise or she thought you were misbehaving, because you were just sitting there. You couldn't get up and stand up. You couldn't go up and
So Rafael,
That was for 2 hours.
were there any instances that the boys started to rebel and say enough is enough and started to
No.
resist,
too
defend
scared,
themselves?
petrified. They couldn't. They were too petrified, too scared. They knew the consequences. Them nuns just drove that in with the fear. There was pure fear at school. Like, no, I can't remember anybody rebellion. Like, you had plenty of children running away. You had plenty of children disappearing. No, I can't. No, I can't. No, I can't. No, there are ones. There are schools that I went to. Yeah, we did rebel there. I've seen children at 10 will rebel there. I rebelled there. St Gilbert's, I rebelled there. I went to another place called, what do you call it? Woodlands Assessment Centre. That was in Leicester. You had MPs, members of Parliament, going there, interfering because raping children. Wow. Members of Parliament. You had education, heads of the education departments going in there. These are all documented. I think the head of the education department, a guy called Black, I think he got life in prison. He was the head of the education department. He ended up in prison with life for abusing children there. He ended up, I think he committed suicide while he was in prison. That's the head of the education department. And you had people like MPs, Lord Janner, Cyril Smith. Like, these are well-known names, MPs, members of Parliament, and the cabinet. Like, they got mentioned in that inquiry. Like, I know from others, talking to other survivors who were there about these MPs who were gone to them places. So as I said, it ain't just the Catholic Church. It's the education department, it's the social services department, and your government. Our government is totally riddled with paedophilia. Right? I'm afraid to say it. This is supposed to be Great Britain. It's paedophile Britain. No, my eyes. And again, away with it. Then the government were asking for an inquiry into the grooming gangs now. And the government says, oh, you had an inquiry. It cost £250 million. And we're going like that, listen, only one person gave evidence at that inquiry at the grooming gangs out of thousands. We were silenced. Like, no. And we just speak out, they're calling us right wing. No, I'm not a right winger. I'm an ex-coal miner. I've never met a coal miner who's a right winger. I'm not a left winger. No, I'm just normal. Like, no, if I speak out, I'm a right winger. I'm a troublemaker. Like, no, and they'll do anything to silence me. Like, no.
So, Rafael, how did you escape from this? How did you leave the system?
Well, my father died when I was 15 and a half. My older brothers and sisters, they all left the house, and they left my mother and my brother. So I petitioned. I said I wanted to go home to look after my mother. And I took an overdose. That was when I was at St. Gilbert's. I took another overdose. Like to get out of there.
What? You took a what?
Another overdose. I tried to kill myself again.
Oh, okay.
That was at St. Gilbert's. That was when I was about 15 at the time. I was self-harming as well, and I was, because I worked in the woodworking department, I was making pig pens. So I used to sniff glue. I got a habit of sniffing glue. Self-harming. Took an overdose. That's my second overdose since I've been in the care system. So my father passed away. Then I kicked off when I wanted to go home. I said, "Look, I want to go home," and I petitioned. So they let me go home, and I spent 4 months at a comprehensive school, which I should have went to before I went to the children's homes. I went there with no qualifications, nothing at all, no education, and at the age of 16, I got a job as a coal miner. I went down the mines. And to be a coal miner, I had to do 4 months training. And at the end of the training, I had to pass a test. You give you a test, health and safety and first aid, blah, blah, blah. Now, a lot of the kids didn't pass that test, but I did. I know, and I don't know how I passed it, to tell you the truth. I don't know. So my education was really stolen from me. But I knew I was clever all along. I was clever. I was a bright boy in Glasgow. But I think to myself, what could I have been if I would have had my education, a proper education? What would have come to in my life? No. Yeah. I ended up being a drug addict. I ended up being an alcoholic. But I've been clean 12 years now, maybe more. I don't know. I don't count the years or whatever. But I've changed my life. I've been to prison. I've come out. My wife passed away. I've got my kids, and I've gone like, I've got to do something here. And someone just inspired me. Like, I didn't think in a lifetime that I would be doing this, and I'm glad I have. Right? No, I never in a million years what I thought I'd write about, and I'd be out there traveling all over Europe, awareness, telling people what's going on, and fighting a system. No, I think I was meant to be that man. I think I was meant.
Yes, that was your. I see that as your purpose in this lifetime, to bring light into these horrors.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, 2 questions come to mind. The first one is, do you think you could have left that horrible environment early on? You just said that you left at 15 and a half when your father passed away. Do you think you could have left earlier?
No, my father lobbied to get me out there. He was the only one who believed me, my mother and father. Like, he lobbied, but they threatened him with prison if they didn't set me back. There was a letter from Mr. T. Bond from the Education Department saying that it was in Rafael's best interest that he remains at Croome Court. My father did. I remember my father fought hard to get me out. It devastated my father, to tell you the truth. It devastated him, because he knew what was happening with me and my sister. He knew, but he couldn't do nothing. He couldn't do nothing about it. And as I said, they threatened him with prison. Like, no, I wish it did an to many of us. Like, no,
So the same
many of the
treatment for
children.
both boys and girls. Girls also were physically,
Yeah,
sexually abused as well.
there's no difference. No difference. My sister was in a
Wow.
hellhole as well. Like, no, and then in them days they were experimenting on drugs on children, and I think they're still experimenting on children now with drugs, especially in the 70s. Because that's what it says. I cannot remember being at Father Hudson's homes. Like,
Yeah.
no, I was found wandering on the bloody highway. Right, and I didn't know I was there until I got my documents from the archives, and no, and it's no, it's just like no, I don't know, it's just frustrating. Right, I can't get my memory back for that part of my life,
Yeah.
I can remember everything else.
Raphael,
Nothing.
how old was his sister when she was able to escape from this horrible environment?
She was 15, 16, 15, 16,
And you guys were at the
15 or
same
16.
time at the same institution?
No, I was supposed to join my sister. I suggested that I should go and join my sister, but then they changed their mind and put me in Croome Court because they classed my sister as well as severely retarded. So they were going to put both of us together, but we ended up getting separated.
While you guys were there, were you able to see each other and talk to each other about what you guys
No,
were going through? Or were the
no,
girls
no,
completely separated from
no.
the boys?
Uh, Pardon, can you say it again?
Were the girls and boys
I
completely
think my sister.
separate? Were they completely
No,
separated?
I think my sister was. I don't know. I only went to boys' schools. I don't know. I
Ah, okay.
think with my
So
sister, there was boys and girls. I only went to the boys' schools, but in my sister's school, there's boys and girls at my sister's school. Uh, I said I was supposed to join her, but they changed their mind and put me in Croome Court. Uh, but when you put in these places, you don't see anybody. You got no contact with the social services. You've got no contact with anybody. And when the social services come out to see to inspect you, like they put you out in the field and go, oh look, they're all enjoying themselves, or warn you. You say nothing. You don't know. We were scared. You couldn't say nothing. They put you out in the way. And in them days, the nuns or the priests or the Christian brothers, their word was good enough because nobody suspected them. Like no, the nuns had said, "Oh, look at them, they're out there playing." Like no, and doing a report without even interviewing us. Like no, no. So we were just abandoned. Get them out of the way when the inspections come. They made sure that they gave a couple of footballs and go and play in the field, and as if to be looked as if we were all right. Like no eye contact. Like oh, they're there. But we couldn't speak to them. There was none of the social services or any authorities coming up and asking us. They were only taking the nuns or the priests or the Christian brothers' words. Like no, and who's going to believe a guy, a child who's severely retarded or feeble-minded? Who's going to believe me? Right? No, every time I went to the police station, I'd slap, and you're wasting police time. No. Then when you go to the police station, like they go like that, like for petty shoplifting, they want to put an extra 50 charges on you and say, look, no, in them days it was called TIC, taken into consideration. I remember the interviews. Oh, can you just wipe the slate the books here, Raphael? Nothing will happen. The magistrate will and just wipe them off as a TIC taken into consideration. So they had a lot of kids there, and for petty things, uh, when they come out to the police station, it was massive. They had all taken and they never done it. A lot of these kids never done that. Law's abolished now. But I always remember them when I used to get pulled and dragged in, waiting for the nuns or the Christian brothers to come back. All nice. Would you want a cup of tea? Listen, can you just take ease off it? Just clears your books, Raphael. Right? No, I'll be nice to give you a cigarette. Right? No, yeah, just sign there. Right? It was already prepared for you, taken into consideration. So it made you look bad anyway. Right? No, but yeah, it's they were all involved. Right? They all knew. Everybody knew, right? But the police never done nothing. So you could complain to the police all day long. St Gilbert's, all the reports in there. You reported it to the police. Why did the police ignore us? why did they ignore us? Why did everybody else ignore us? There were so many coming forward. Hundreds came forward from Tenno, but these went on for decades. It's not. There's been 3 books now about Croome Court. Echoes of the Past by John Conley. I forget the other one's name. And you've got my book, but I know there's 3 books about Croome Court. The
1 second. You said John Conley. Is John Conley from Ireland?
No, he's from England.
Okay.
He wrote the book Echoes of the Past.
Okay.
I think I've got it up there somewhere. He tells you, in his story, he tells you about the nuns dragging you out of bed at night because you're supposed to sleep like that when you're lying in bed. That was the rules. And if the nuns caught you with your hands by your side, they drag you out of bed. And they think you're touching yourself. We're only kids. No, it's
really
no. That was their thing. Yeah, you have to sleep like that. And if you get caught like that with your arms by your side, they drag you out of bed. And in John's book, it'll tell you that they used to make the kids kneel on marbles, for punishment, or you got talking or misbehaving after the lights are out. Well, once them lights are out, you can't speak. Right? No, you get caught speaking or fidgeting or getting up or. It was a punishment because the nun used to share a room at the end of the dormitory in the room, and many children's stories that's come out there, kneeling on marbles and kneeling all night facing the wall for your punishment. The nuns were cruel. Well, not cruel. I don't say cruel. I can't think of a word for it. I can't describe. You can't say they're cruel because that's too. It's a word for them.
This is beyond inhuman. Nice. Yeah. So, 1 second. Wow, what a story, Rafael. Thank you for opening up your heart and sharing this incredible story, all these horrible things you had to go through. Listening to your story, it's hard for me to imagine. How can people do something like this to innocent children, especially people who are supposed to look up to, people who are supposed to provide us with peace, with guidance, with leadership. And then yet these are the ones committing the most horrible crimes. So I would like to now move on and talk about, I would like you to share how you were able to, once you left this horrible environment at the age of 15 and a half to take care of your mother after the passing of your father, how was life for you at that time? How were you able to overcome all of these, especially traumatic, psychological things that you had to go through so that you can build a normal life again? And then you said you found a job at the mine, and then you went on to have a normal life, build a family, get married, have kids. Talk to us about how all of these affected you and how you're able to overcome all of this so that you can live as much as possible a normal life.
I got married at a very early age. I got married at 18. My wife passed away. I worked. I left the coal mines. Then I got a job as pipe fitting. Then I got made redundant. It was a recession in 1982. There was no work. The recession. I had no work. Money was tight. I had 2 children. I still had my demons. My wife stood by me 100%. So I started taking a drink. Then drink, drugs. I lost it. I completely lost it. Then I spent a bit of time in prison. Come out of prison. Went back on drinking, drugs. Tried to have a stable relationship with my wife. I just couldn't. because I think what happened was I ran away from these children's homes so many times that I just couldn't stay. I couldn't stay in one place all the time. I just had to be up and gone. Like, I ended up in Holland. I ended up in Belgium, homeless. Just used to just run away for no reason at all, especially when I was on the drugs. And then I think just after my wife, before, well, I think it was about 15 years ago, I was finished. I was staying with my daughters. I was an alcoholic, drug addict. Felt ashamed. I got one morning at 6 o'clock in the morning. I had £5 in my pocket, and I walked to the motorway, the M6, and I thumbed the lift, and I ended up in France that night with £5 to my name. And never forget that morning. I never turned back. I never looked back. And I thought I'd never see my wife and kids again. I know that was the end of it. I was ashamed for what I'd become. I couldn't bring this shameness on my children. So the best thing I've done was just go. So I ended up in France, and I thumbed the lift and jumped on trains, worked my way to Spain, to northern Spain. And I ended up picking grapes on the Pyrenees for 3 months with no drink, no drugs. I think I was getting €20 a day, free lodgings, as much wine as I wanted to drink and as much food as I wanted to eat. Well, that 3 months got me in good stead, and I've come back to England, tried to sort my life out. It was hard. My wife passed away.
Wait, she
I've got
passed
4
away.
daughters.
She passed away while you were away. She passed away while you were away.
No, while I was here, she passed away. She had cancer.
Hear that?
So I've got 4 daughters. I've got 4 daughters, and my 2 youngest daughters, they were still at school. So now I was determined. No, I had to. I was grieving. Really, it broke my heart. So my duty was to look after my children. And so I don't know what happened. I packed my drinking up. I packed my drugs up, and 6 months later, I had a triple bypass. So I was rushed into hospital. Had a triple bypass. Come out. I made sure my daughters finished college. They've all got good jobs now. They went to college, stood by them. And I was just sitting, watching the TV, watching the news. This is the late night news. And one of my schools come up on the news. They said, have you been abused at St. Gilbert's, actually, by the Christian Brothers at St. Gilbert's Approved School? Please get in contact with this programme. And there's going to be a mini documentary. It's called Inside Out. It'll be shown on Monday night at 7 o'clock. So I did get in contact with the BBC. And I told them, I said, look, yeah, I was here. I got abused there. And by the way, I went to 4 other children's homes. So from there, I knew I was going to get believed. Because it opened a can of worms. And then I got invited to go to the inquiry. I think it was 2014. Got invited to go to the inquiry, and I thought we were going to be heard then, and we never got heard. They silenced us, and that made me say, right, you ain't silencing me, you ain't silencing none of the survivors, and that's when I became a campaigner to help other survivors to get justice and hold the church and these other organisations to accountability. And best thing I ever done. It was the best thing I ever done. I wake up in the morning. I love going out there, speaking to people from all over the world. I travel. I've been to Poland. I've been to Berlin. I've been to Spain. I've been to Belgium. And I go around a lot of cathedrals now. And I protest outside the cathedrals. Because I think that's the only way we're going to hurt them. Bring it to them. If they don't want to listen to us, I've got no option. And I have been threatened. I have been intimidated. But it don't bother me. And the author who wrote my book is Countess Sigrid von Galen. She's a granddaughter of a cardinal. She's in hiding. She's had 2 attempts of assassination on her life from the Vatican. And what she says in my book, she's not the only granddaughter of a cardinal. There's thousands of us. She's had 2 attempts of assassination on her life. She's in exile in London. And since she's wrote the book, she's disappeared again. She's had death threats again. And she's been a whistleblower, a trailblazing whistleblower for 30 years.
Wait a second, Rafael, sorry to interrupt you. My understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, is that once you get into the church, you make the vow of chastity. You're not allowed to have a wife or kids. So how is this cardinal having daughters? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, she says in the book, she's not the only granddaughter of a cardinal. There's thousands of us. And now, because she spoke out, she didn't know that her granddad was a cardinal, Augustus von Clemens. He's from Munster. She didn't know her granddad, but he was outspoken cardinal just after the war. He was just going to expose the Germans for the atrocities, euthanasia. Like, he was a big part of outspoken. And she's accusing the Vatican of assassinating him 3 days after he's left Rome. Now, Cardinal Clemens von Galen, he was a major outspoken against the Germans. It was just an idiot, the program. And what she says that he was going to come out and tell the truth after the war, with the atrocities that happened, and she's accusing the Vatican of assassinating him. Because when he went to Rome, he got summoned to go to Rome, and when he went to Rome, he was there for, he come back 3 days later, he died. He said it was septicemia. No, she said that was no accident. She's positive that the Vatican assassinated him because he was going to disclose a lot of the atrocities. And she's in fear of her life as well. She's had a terrible life, the Countess. Like, no, as I said, she's in exile. She's had 2 attempts of assassination on her life, and she's in hiding in London somewhere. And since she's wrote the book, I haven't heard from her.
Wow.
But, yeah. There is these priests. When they say the priests, they're celibate. It's all bullshit. And these nuns, the nuns were sexually abusing children at Croome Court. The nuns were sexually abusing children at Father Hudson's homes. Oh, that's why one of the nuns got investigated for murder at Father Hudson's homes. That's it was established at the inquiry. One of the co-participants who I was with, he got abused by nuns at Croome Court. So there's no difference. The nuns, the priests, your cardinals, your bishops, they're all at it. They're all involved. None of them, no. Don't get me wrong, people. No, I have some nuns and priests on my social media. No, there is some beautiful people in the church. Like, no, I'm not classing them all. Like, no, honestly, God, I know. Like, no, there is, because I spoke to them, I know them. But there is a lot of bad apples. Right, no, I mean, well, there's an orchard full of them.
Yeah.
No, and it's still covering up. They're still closing the doors. They don't want to talk about it. We want to talk about it because we want change. They're going like, no. Even the Pope Nuncio, even Pope Francis. Like, no, I blame Pope Francis. He's involved with my case, and he's closed the door on me. He sent somebody over to see me, the Pope Nuncio, the ambassador, and promised me that he's going to get back to me. And you know why they haven't got back to me? Because I asked them some serious questions. Right? No, and they go, we don't want, they went, he's too much. No, they went, if I went, I go, oh, forgive you, yeah, and oh, thank you, blah, 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 accept you, do this.
Just forgive us, yes. I read the document you sent me. At the end, one of the Archbishop is asking you to please forgive them. And yeah, come on.
I won't forgive them. I'll forget anybody. If they're sincere and apologise sincere and I can see some change, yeah, I'll give anybody a chance. But these people, they're just saying it. It's all PR stunts. PR stunts. But no, they got me in magazines saying a major breakthrough for Pope Nuncio meeting survivors. It wasn't. It was a major disaster, but they won't get our story back now. They get their story, they can get their stories out, but I can't get my story back out. Why didn't you come back and see me as promised? And you put it in a magazine, major breakthrough, people going on to meet survivors first time. He promised to get back to them. And when I've approached the Tablet magazine, I said, listen, can I give my story now? 4 years ago, why haven't they come back? No, I want reasons. No,
They
why
can't.
hasn't
They
they
have their
come back?
hands tied. They can't because they control the media.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And they didn't like the questions that I was asking them, because I was asking them, why is Cardinal Vincent Nichols still the head of the Catholic Church? When he resigned, he wrote to Pope Francis and said, look, I'm 75 now, I've resigned. Because the only reason why he resigned was because he got found out the inquiry that he protected the Catholic Church over survivors. So Pope Francis has wrote back to him and says, you'll stay in your position until I tell you where you've got to go, until we find your replacement. Now, that was 4 years ago. 4 years ago. And no, it's, when I asked the Pope Nuncio, why is he still head of the Catholic Church when he resigned? The Pope Nuncio turned around and says to me, Rafael, do not repeat this. So he's asking me not to cover up. He said, Rafael, don't repeat this. The reason why Pope Francis is there, he said, because Cardinal Nichols is still in power, is because Pope Francis is turned around and said he's got to stay there until he finds a replacement. Then he says, and to tell you the truth, Rafael, nobody wants his job, so there can't be any replacement. Years ago, they were in queuing up for his job. He said, but nobody wants his job. He said, because I know they're all tainted. If somebody gets his job, he's under a microscope. Like, no, and they go, well, they've all got something to hide. All these ones in high positions, they've all got something to hide. So, like, no, that's why they've still got Cardinal Nichols. He's never been seen since the inquiry. He's never been seen. He's the head of the Catholic Church. Nobody's seen him since that inquiry, since he resigned, but he's still in power. We're still waiting for a replacement. So I was asking some serious questions. Then I was going to why ain't an investigation into Croome Court and Father Hudson's homes? I'll get back to you, Rafael, after the meeting with Pope Francis. I'll have to see. I'll go back in September. I think that was 2021. After I have a meeting with the Pope. Never got back to us, but in a magazine, it was all praising him. Like, oh, no, what's happened? But now the Tablet magazine, they don't want to speak to me. Like, know what I mean? And when I've asked for the minutes of that meeting, I've been refused for the minutes. And when I've asked for the subject access request, I've been refused. So that meeting, to me, don't exist. Like, no, I've asked for the paperwork. Let me get the paperwork. I want to find out. You had a 3-hour meeting with the Catholic Safeguarding Standards, with Carol Lawrence, the Pope Nuncio, among Sure, and 2 other survivors. I want to know what was said at that meeting. I want the minutes. There's no minutes, it says. These are 2 high-ranking officials from the Vatican, the Pope Nuncio, the ambassadors to Great Britain, and among Sure. Then I've asked for a subject access request, which I'm entitled to. There was none. So they don't want me. They don't want me to get this information because I know what it contains. That contains a lot of damaging stuff. I asked some serious questions, and the Pope Nuncio says to me, "Promise me, I will get back to you after the meeting with Pope Francis." He said, and Pope Francis said that he's saddened what he's read, and he's got to mention in his prayers. I hate it when they say prayers. Don't pray for me. Pray for yourselves, because you're going to hell. I ain't. I'm going there. We're going there. I don't need the prayers. They're the ones who need prayers.
You know, these people.
Yeah, so they cover up.
I know these people have a very, very VIP suite at the lowest section of hell, because they may, just like the song by Bob Marley, you can fool some of the people all the time, but you cannot fool everyone all of the time. You can definitely not fool God Almighty. You can never fool God Almighty.
I know, man. I know.
No matter who you may be, no matter how much power you may have in this lifetime, when the time it comes for you to face, to answer for your actions.
We'll make up at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
I've told Dave Catholic Church, I'll be there waiting for you. I'll be there waiting for you. I told him
all
about that.
of you guys, all of you guys, all of those innocent victims will be there. They will be pointing fingers at them, and they will have to answer those questions then. and they will make no mistake, they will not be able to talk their way out because it's not going to be their words, going to be their heart. The action will speak against them, you know? So
Yeah,
listen, Rafael, thank you for, it's been absolutely fascinating, captivating, and for you to share this incredibly touching story. This is a story that definitely needs to be
yeah.
shared. We're gonna take it call it a day for today. We're gonna do a second part in a couple of weeks. We're gonna talk about your battle, your struggle with getting this information out, and how you've been completely shut down, silenced, and all of that. We're gonna talk about that in the next and part two.
Thank you.
Very welcome, because
Thank
this
you.
is we're gonna do a few episodes, me and you, because this information is we will go deep and very deep to really uncover what the horror, the nightmare that you have gone through. So if my little channel can help you in some way get the information to the people, especially to the right people, the people that can make an actual difference, it would be my utmost
Thank you,
honor.
sir. Thank you.
You know, so from my
Thank you,
heart
sir.
as a brother to
I
you
really
as a
appreciate
brother,
it.
you know.
And you, mate. And you, mate. So, this is my book, Stealing Lives.
We're gonna talk
This will
about that
tell
in the
you
next. We're
what
gonna
the
talk about
silence of
that
me.
in the next call in the next episode. I want you to talk
Oh,
about your books.
man.
There's so Listen, me and you,
Yeah,
we're gonna do quite a few conversation. We will have quite a few very touching, deep, candid conversation, because this is something I really want to.
yeah.
Hey, listen, however way I can help you, it will be my utmost honor, and I mean
Thank
it
you,
from the bottom of my
Payman. Thank you,
heart and
sir.
my
Thank you.
soul.
Yeah, see, I just want this awareness. I'm going to Glasgow on the 12th of April. There's
Okay.
a big rally in Glasgow on the 12th of April. I've been invited up there as a speaker. I don't know. So I just want to go out there and awareness, tell people, like, these people haven't changed. Let's make a change. Let's make them understand that we ain't going away. And survivors, like, we're all coming out. No, they're not alone no more. There's so many of us. Like, no, and we're all, no, we're doing good. We're doing good.
Yeah.
No,
And
more of us and more of us are coming forward.
if I may make a suggestion, when you go to that event on April 12th in Glasgow, bring as many copies of your book and give a copy to all the people that can really help you. Even
I start
reach
doing.
out, even reach out to local newspapers, magazines, radios, TVs. All it takes
Yeah,
is just one of them to pick it up. It takes one of them to pick it up, and
no,
it cannot be stopped, because truth and light cannot be contained.
I know that, mate. Thank
You
you
know,
very much.
you're
I really
welcome, my
appreciate
brother.
your help. I do. No, because we are a minority. People won't listen to us, and people like yourself, like, no, thank you very much. Like, no, for giving us all opportunity, survivors, our voices. No, our voices. I love it. I love it.
This is definitely a voice, a story that needs to be heard as far and wide as possible, because so that not only we get justice for you and the ones that were armed, that had their lives literally stolen, just like the title of your book, but also to make sure that this doesn't happen again
Yeah, it's
anymore.
global. This is global. This is. It's not just in Britain. This is a global epidemic that has to be stamped out.
Yes.
And the only way we can stamp it out is awareness and let people know these atrocities, because people still don't know what happened about this carry on. A lot of people don't know. Right, so we've got these people, we have to know. We've got to let them know. And I know it's triggering, but we've got to tell these horrific stories to get our point across. Like, no, no,
Absolutely. You know,
it's
something,
hard.
just something that came to just at a, what would you call it? I just said something that came to mind, and it was very obvious at the beginning that this is your life's purpose. Your life purpose is to be a whistleblower, to bring this plight to light, as to not only bring the justice, the people behind it, but also to ensure this ends once and for all. Do you
It
see it
does,
that
mate.
way too?
It
That
does.
this is your life's purpose?
Yeah, well, to tell you what, I think I'm a messenger. I don't know how I've
Oh
gone
yeah.
through my life and come out of it at the other end and doing what I'm doing now. like, I've never imagined me doing this. I've never been this way before. Like, no, and I think I had to go through all that pain and suffering and come out the other end so I had to experience it so I could tell my experiences to other people and say, look, these things did happen. These things are still going on. These cover-ups are still happening. Like, no, we have to stop it. We have to get together and let people know, aware what these atrocities did happen, because I'm living proof. And I don't know how I'm still alive. I don't know how I'm here. I've had triple bypasses. I need open heart surgery. Like, no, I had a heart attack in April. Like, no, we're in hospital for 5 days. I'm proper seriously ill. Like, no, and I'm still going out every day doing what I've got to do. And I don't know how to do it.
Because Rafael, your mission is not completed. Your mission is not completed. You have,
Completed, I know.
you know, even though you may be having challenges physically, medically, and other aspects, even though they're trying their hardest to shut you down, to silence you, and all that. But keep in mind, you have the big guy on your team, the Almighty. When you have the Almighty on your team, nobody touches you. Nobody can stop you.
I know.
You know, the
I was
real
talking to
Almighty.
somebody the other day there. I was talking to, because I know a couple of whistleblowers, quite a few whistleblowers, and the countess used to say to me, Rafael, somebody's looking after me. I don't know who it is.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
You are blessed.
Then I've got another whistleblower last week. He was saying exactly the same on one of his videos. They try to scare me, they're frightening me. He said, but I don't care. He said, because I know somebody's looking after me, but I don't know who they are. He said, but I just know. And you know, I used to think the countess is, oh, it's a wee bit thing about strange. No, somebody's looking after me and all that. But I got the same feeling now. I know somebody is looking after me, and I don't know who it is. I know I'm protected, and it's just weird.
You must be. You must be. You must be. You're protected. You're blessed. You're guided.
Yeah, I know. And I think it's God, Jesus, God. Somebody's gone like that. Listen,
Universal
you're
God.
here for a purpose.
Universal God.
Yeah.
Not the religious
There is,
God.
yeah.
The universal God.
They tried to break me, but they didn't break my faith. They broke, no, the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
No, but my faith is in God and Jesus, not them.
Real
not them.
God, the universal God, not the religious.
Yeah.
God, you know.
Yeah, the universal one. Yeah, they tried to break me, but nah, you couldn't break me.
You cannot break.
I'm here for a reason.
You cannot. You can. Nobody and nothing can break light, truth, and true divine justice. You know.
Exactly.
So listen, my brother, if someone wants to connect with you and reach out to you, what's the best way to find you?
You can get me on email, TikTok. Do you want my email?
Yes, please. Say it. Yeah.
I'll give you my email. My email is Viola, Viola, Rafael, Rafael, 1 at gmail.com. You can get me on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, but I'm getting shut down in them. I can't, but you can get me on them platforms.
Are you on Facebook? Are you on Facebook?
My telephone. Yeah, I'm on Facebook as well. Facebook.
Okay, don't mention your phone number. Don't mention your phone number. No, don't mention your phone number.
Yeah. No, I won't. But I'm not very good at technology. That's fine. As you know.
That's fine. That's fine.
Because my education was stolen.
You're doing amazing. Listen, you're doing amazing. You're doing amazing. So don't worry.
Yeah, thank you.
Your mission, your job, your duty is to ensure that your story, your voice is heard. Don't worry about technology. The people around it will help you. And
I'm getting some great help by Patrick Mills. He's an author. He's a scriptwriter for Marvel. Okay. Stephen Gillen. He's a top reporter from England. Investigative reporter from England.
That's
that guy.
Stephen is the guy that connected us.
Yeah, Stephen Gillen is a right nice top gentleman. And he's amplifying my voice. And I'm very, Stephen, if you're watching, Stephen, I'm very grateful for what you're doing for me.
I will thank him after this call. I will message him personally. So thank you. Listen, Rafael, we can talk for hours, and we've talked for an hour and a half already. And I'm captivated by your story. And listen, I can't wait to hear to be here for part two in a couple of weeks. So in the meantime, stay safe, you keep warm,
and
keep shining your light.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
keep shining your light, keep
helping
blessing the world, your presence, your impact, your wisdom, your tenacity, and your voice. God bless you, my brother, and talk to you very soon. Take care. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Bye bye.